Welcome back to part 2 and the final part of our grizzly bear. Here I have got a rubber burr, and I'm doing the initial bits of picking up of shading. We'll be doing a lot more shading as we go along, but I like to do this. It's like building up from the background. It's like a painting. And lots of layers of shading really gives it that interesting finish. So this is a soft grey rubber. Just try all your rubbers. As I say, whatever rubbers you've got, just have a go. And just to give it some darkness where the most darkness is. As you can see, I was not impressed at how much rubber was being lost because of the roughness of the texture. So I've got a really old coarse rubber in my drill, and I showed you there how I have ground down the top so many times. That is going back to my days in Zimbabwe, where I used burrs and until there wasn't a drop left on them because it was so hard to get them. So but what you've got to do is make sure that you use it on the side, and you make sure that you don't let that metal touch the glass. So now I have got a rubber disc. This is a bit harder, and as you can see, it's picking up the ridges. I'm just quickly zipped back to a little pencil rubber just to, while I was thinking about it, I think it was annoying me seeing the eyes not dark enough yet, and the nose. So back to the rubber disc and picking up some ridges. Ridges are very useful because they make it so easy to create a nice dark hard line where you need it. Okay, obviously these lines are not going to remain straight and as rigid as they are, because we're going to put hair over the top. You will see that in a moment. Right, so zooming around, not at the speed, of course. I have sped up this video quite considerably, and it's just to show you as much as I can. And as you can see, it actually, even on a flatter surface like by the eyes there, it has instantly made a nice dark mark. Okay, now I have got the little pink stone. Use any stone you like, and I just flattened the top of a Dura White. As you know, this is one of my favorite burrs. It is so incredibly useful. And I am flicking in some slightly darker hairs. That's just to start. Okay, this will eat nicely into the diamond engraved surface. I'm trying to show you that it's already a little bit streaky. And it makes the darker line within the diamond, the white diamond area, but once you flick over the edge, it's a half-tone line. So this is creating a more hairy effect on the outside of the animal. Hairs need to be everywhere, inside and the outside. But this burr, as I say, creates lovely dark hairs. You can see them a little bit better there. Okay, the effect of dark hairs. So flicking it forwards and backwards. I'm actually doing this a little bit fast. You need to take a little bit more time over it. And create lovely, neat little hairs. I know it takes a long time, but it is definitely worth it. And keep looking at your pictures for reference to see the direction in which the hair is growing. Don't make it up, because sometimes it surprises you. And well, it certainly surprises me sometimes, especially sort of around the nose area and the eye area. Always have a look. So I have just shown you the tip of the burr because I'm too lazy to flatten it, and it's still creating some nice lines for me. But later on I do keep popping back and flattening it, as I've already shown you before. Going down to the bottom of the glass, I've turned the glass upside down because this does make it easier to work with it. And flicking up is a nice easy direction to go. And literally just flick, 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 flick. And what it does as well, if you want to tone down the bottom area of the little animal portrait, any animal portrait is quite a good idea to finish the bottom with a Dura White, because then it's very easy to polish with a burr so that it kind of just disappears into the glass rather than being a hard lighter area, a hard lighter finish on the edge. Okay, just randomly hairs everywhere. But I'm still referring, as I say, to the picture. Now look at that look at that bright area on the edge with I really gouged into it with a big diamond, and this will just blend that nicely and create a much more hairy matching area. Great little burr. And if you join my Patreon teaching channel, then once a month when I do my live chat, 3 lucky people get to win one of these burrs. Not necessarily this particular shape, but usually I send out a Dura White. Now just roughly going over the top of the nose again, just to create a slightly darker and larger area. Haven't been happy with those eyes yet. So back with a little rubber pencil. Pencil rubber, just to get in there. This is another tool that I use. Whether you put that in the drill and spin it first, or whether you hold it and spin the Dura White to flatten it. It is a burr that I don't like. It was a very rough stone burr. And so that sort of thing I will happily use to flatten or sharpen. Because sometimes if you do that a lot, it will misshapen, and then you don't really want to use it for engraving. So there are tiny little hairs around the snout, the nose, the mouth, and of course using this for that. You may have noticed as well that I go over the edge of the dark areas and I flick down into them. You'll notice that even more once we get onto the hairs using a diamond. Don't forget the tiny little hairs on the top of the ears. Again, a bit of rubber work. This time it will go into, because it's a soft rubber, it'll go into some of these Dura White bits and just create that slightly extra bit of shading. But what's nice about the Dura White is it creates grooves in the glass. There are actual little grooves that give it the texture of hair, which is brilliant. It's not just the colour, there's a little bit of texture going on there as well. Difficult to show in a video. Just touching up a bit with the harder rubber. Missed a bit. This is a very, very tiny little diamond burr, and I'm putting in the bottom. It's actually the very, very edge of the eyelid, the bottom eyelid. As I said before, the eyes should be relatively shiny when you're finished anyway because of the polishing, so it will catch little sparkles of light. But just to make sure that you see the life in the eyes, a tiny little dot can help. Just making sure I'm happy with all the dark areas before I use this little beauty. So this is a rat's tail, and I have flattened the top to get to the nice fresh diamonds, which are obviously going down the side, and this creates beautiful little white hairs. Now this is actually a black bear, but we cannot engrave a black bear on a glass because clear glass is effectively black. So I've just got to make him nice and hairy, shiny. Just imagine there's a lot of sunlight on him or her. So now these tiny little hairs I am flicking over the dark areas, as you can see, so they show up really well when you do that. And that's why I created those very dark areas just before using this, so that this little finish is going to be most effective. Because you don't want to go back and create darkness over the top. You don't want to try and rub these down. Just flick over the dark, and now we have a lovely layer of bright hair. You will notice, or maybe notice, not sure if you will, but sometimes I flick the other direction, so when you're within the area or flicking upwards into the black, that gives the impression of black hair coming down. So at the moment I've got white hair coming over the black, and here you will see that I will flick upwards into the dark area, which gives you the impression of the dark hair coming down. Now, yes, there is quite a ridge there, or it looks like it because of the light showing it, but it is easily engraved into with this burr. It's all about impressions and effects. Flicking up, flicking down. And if you need to sharpen this again, keep sharpening it. And as always, a signature or some kind of little cipher and the date. I just put the year. This will be one of the last glasses this year, as we're about to hit December. And there you have it. I hope you enjoyed our grizzly bear. Thank you to Vicky, one of my patrons, who asked me to engrave a grizzly. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye for now.